Okay, so we're diving into something a little, maybe a little taboo for some,
Yeah,
but we're going to unpack it
let's do it.
using toys in the bedroom,
Ooh.
right? And I think some people might be thinking, like, is that really for me?
Mm.
But trust me, after this deep dive,
Yeah,
you'll see why it's becoming so popular
absolutely.
and how it can just add like a whole new dimension
For sure.
to your intimate life.
Totally.
So we're looking at Sex with Emily, her podcast and website.
A great.
Fantastic sex positive resource.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we're focusing on like practical tips, especially for beginners.
Yes. Very practical advice.
Yeah, so no need to be intimidated.
Exactly.
So one thing that I thought was really interesting that she pointed out
Yeah.
is that we often think about toys for solo fun,
Right.
but we totally forget
Yeah.
about the potential to enhance partnered sex.
Such a good point.
Right.
And I think there are a lot of reasons for that.
Okay.
I mean, we have a lot of societal taboos around sex in general. And then you add toys into the mix and people can get really squirrely about it.
Totally.
I think there's a lot of fear of judgment, like, what will my partner think? Am I not enough?
That's so true.
But it's changing, though.
That's good.
It is. The good news is
Okay.
that using toys is becoming much more normalized these days. And there are so many resources available to help people feel more comfortable exploring.
That's great to hear.
It is.
I'm all about normalizing it.
Yes.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
So speaking of normalizing it, I love that Emily actually recommends starting simple.
Yeah.
She says there are two like versatile toys
Yeah.
to start with.
The essentials.
Bullet vibrators and penis rings.
Love it.
Now, I have to admit, I was a little bit curious why those two in particular.
Yeah, well, I think for beginners, it's about accessibility and ease of use,
Yeah.
They're both relatively inexpensive. You can find them pretty much anywhere. And they're simple to incorporate into different activities. Plus, you can do a lot with just those two toys, So you get a lot of bang for your buck, so to speak.
Okay, now you've got me really intrigued. So without giving away all the secrets, right, can you just tease a few ways that these toys can be used?
Sure. So let's start with the bullet vibrator.
Okay.
It's amazing for direct clitoral stimulation, of course.
Right.
But you can also use it to tease other erogenous zones,
Oh, okay.
like running it along the inner thighs,
Okay.
the nipples, even the labia.
Ooh, things are heating up already.
Uh-huh.
So what about penis rings then?
Yeah.
Because I feel like people might not really know or be familiar with how they can enhance pleasure.
I think you're right. A lot of people have misconceptions about them.
Okay.
So a penis ring works by gently restricting blood flow, which can help maintain a firmer erection and sometimes even intensify orgasms for some people.
Okay.
They can also be helpful for people who want to delay ejaculation.
Interesting.
And you know what else?
No.
There are also penis rings with built-in vibrators, which can stimulate the partner's clitoris during intercourse.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So many possibilities.
It's true, there really are.
So it's really just about integrating them into what you're already doing
Exactly.
and like amplifying those sensations.
Yeah, it's about adding a new layer of fun and exploration, not replacing anything,
Right.
And that's what makes it so exciting.
That's what makes it so exciting. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So she actually breaks down how to use these toys in specific positions.
Yes, she does.
Should we dive into that?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
I think you'll be surprised by how a simple toy can totally change the game,
Okay.
even in familiar positions.
Okay.
So let's start with missionary.
Okay. A classic.
Classic for a reason.
Classic for a reason, but it can sometimes feel a bit, well, basic.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, so what does Emily suggest to spice things up a little bit?
Well, she recommends having the receiving partner hold the bullet vibrator against their clitoris during intercourse.
Okay.
So you've got the thrusting motion combined with the vibration, and that can create some incredibly intense sensations.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Uh-huh.
I think our listeners are starting to get the picture too.
I hope so.
Okay, but what about positions that are already pretty intimate?
Right.
Like spooning.
Yes.
How could a toy possibly add to that?
Well, spooning is already great for targeting the G-spot.
Yeah.
So the receiving partner could use a bullet vibrator for internal stimulation during spooning.
Okay.
So it just adds this whole other dimension to
Got
an
it.
already sensual position.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, last one before we move on.
Okay.
Cowgirl or cowboy
Yeah.
position.
Okay. Yes.
Any tips for that one?
Yeah. For that one, the person on top could use a bullet vibrator externally
Great.
while thrusting or grinding.
Okay.
You see, it's all about experimenting and finding what feels good for both of you.
Right.
And I think that's a key point that Emily makes.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not about following some rigid set of instructions.
Right.
It's about discovering what works for you as a couple.
What works for one couple might not work for another.
Exactly.
It's all about communication and sense of adventure.
Absolutely.
So we've covered some basics about the toys themselves.
Right.
And how they can be incorporated into familiar positions.
Yeah.
But she also touches on a topic that I think is often overlooked.
Yes.
Which are the challenges that some people might face after childbirth.
The postpartum period.
Yes, exactly.
It's a time of such immense change, both physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
And yes, she dedicates a significant portion of her episode to addressing the difficulties some people have with climaxing after they've given birth.
That's so important.
It is.
I'm so glad she brings that to light.
Me too.
Because I think it's something people don't really talk about.
Yeah, it can feel very isolating.
Yeah.
When you're going through that.
Absolutely.
And you don't know if it's normal or what to do about it.
Yeah, and I imagine some listeners might be wondering, like, well, what causes that difficulty?
For sure.
And is there anything that can help?
Those are great questions.
Yeah.
So after childbirth, the body goes through a lot.
Sure.
Right? There are so many hormonal shifts.
Yeah.
And there can be physical changes that impact sensitivity and arousal.
Okay.
Plus, there's the emotional side of things, the exhaustion, the stress,
Totally.
adjusting to parenthood. All of these things can affect desire and sexual function.
So it's not just about physical healing.
Right.
It's mental and emotional as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I appreciate Emily's approach.
Okay.
She normalizes these challenges and offers very practical advice.
That's good.
She even suggests a specific toy and technique that can be helpful for postpartum recovery.
Okay, well, I don't want to steal her thunder and give away all her secrets.
Right.
Can you just give us a little taste of what she recommends?
Sure. So she suggests a clitoral vibrator that's specifically designed to stimulate the entire clitoral area.
Okay.
Not just the external part.
Okay.
Which can be really beneficial for people who are experiencing reduced sensitivity.
Yep.
And then she also talks about some techniques that can help resensitize the area and increase arousal.
So she really has a comprehensive
Yeah.
and compassionate approach to this topic.
I think so.
But I think it's also important to emphasize that every person's postpartum journey is unique.
You're absolutely right.
And so,
Yeah.
If you're experiencing any challenges, seeking guidance from a healthcare professional,
For sure.
it's always a good idea.
Yes.
They can really give that
Yeah.
advice
Yeah.
and support
Totally.
tailored to your specific needs.
Yeah.
This has been so insightful already.
It has.
I feel like I'm learning so much, and I hope our listeners are too.
Me too.
Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
is there anything else from Emily's episode that particularly stood out to you?
You know, I think what I find most fascinating is how incorporating toys can actually deepen intimacy and connection between partners. It encourages playfulness,
Okay.
experimentation, more open communication
Yeah.
about desires, needs.
That's such an important point.
It is.
It's not just about the physical sensations.
Wow.
It's about that emotional connection as well.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I can't wait to hear more. But for now, we'll leave our listeners with that very thought-provoking idea,
Okay.
and we'll be back soon to explore even more insights from Sex with Emily.
Looking forward to it. It's like she really makes a point that it's not just about like reaching orgasm faster or making things more intense.
Right. There's definitely more to it,
Yeah.
like a deeper layer to this whole conversation
I think so.
about using toys.
It's about expanding your repertoire of sensations,
Okay.
discovering what you and your partner truly enjoy,
Okay.
and adding this new element of playfulness
Yeah.
and exploration to your intimacy.
I love that because sometimes, let's be honest, things can get a little routine
Yeah.
in the bedroom,
Totally.
and routine can lead to boredom,
Right.
which can impact
Desire.
desire
Okay.
and satisfaction.
And I think toys offer a really great way to break free from that monotony
Okay.
and kind of inject that excitement back into your sex life.
Okay, I'm sold, but where do I even start?
Yeah.
There are so many toys out there.
Right. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
That's why she focuses on those two essentials.
Okay.
The bullet vibrator and the penis ring.
Right.
They're versatile.
Yeah.
Beginner friendly.
Yeah.
And you can find really high quality options without breaking the bank.
Okay, so for our listeners who are ready to take the plunge,
Yeah.
any tips on choosing the right toys?
Absolutely. So when it comes to bullet vibrators, I always say consider the size,
Okay.
the shape,
Yeah.
and the vibration intensity.
Okay.
Some people prefer smaller, more discreet vibrators, while others like something with a bit more power.
Yeah.
It's all about personal preference.
What about materials?
Oh, good question.
Because I've seen silicone glass,
Yeah.
metal,
So many options.
so many options.
So silicone is generally a great choice because it's body safe,
Okay.
hypoallergenic, and easy to clean.
Okay.
Glass can be beautiful and luxurious,
Sure.
but it's more fragile.
Okay.
And then metal can be quite intense and is often used for temperature play.
Okay.
But you want to make sure it's a high-quality, body-safe metal.
So many things to think about.
There are a lot of things to consider.
Yeah. What about penis rings?
Yeah.
Are there different types?
Yes, there are some that are just basic rings designed to
right.
enhance erections,
Right.
while others have added features
Okay.
like vibrations or even weights.
Really?
Yeah, and some are made from stretchy materials while others are more rigid.
Wow.
So again, it comes down to personal preference and what you're hoping to achieve.
Okay, so we've got our toys.
We do.
Now what?
Uh-huh.
Any advice on actually using them during sex?
Communication is key.
Okay.
You need to talk to your partner about what you're both comfortable with
Right.
and what you would like to try.
Okay.
Start slowly.
Okay. Experiment with different positions and techniques. Yeah. And don't be afraid to laugh and have fun along the way.
That's great advice.
Thanks.
And remember, it's not about performance
No.
or reaching some imaginary goal.
Exactly.
It's about really enjoying
Yes.
the experience and connecting
It is.
with your partner on a deeper level.
And that's what's so powerful about incorporating toys into your sex life.
Okay.
It can really spark curiosity, enhance communication, and lead to these new discoveries about yourself and your partner.
Okay, I'm feeling inspired
Good.
and a little bit curious myself, to be honest.
I hear that.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today, but there's always more to learn.
There is, for sure.
Sex with Emily has tons of resources on this topic, and we encourage our listeners to explore further.
Yes, definitely.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I have one more burning question.
Okay, go ahead.
If someone is feeling a little nervous or hesitant about introducing toys,
Right.
what's the best way to approach that conversation?
With their partner.
That's a great question
Yeah.
and a very common concern.
Okay.
I think the key is to approach it with openness,
Okay.
honesty,
Yeah.
and a sense of playfulness.
Okay.
Choose a time when you're both relaxed and can talk freely.
Okay.
And start by just sharing your curiosity
Yeah.
and why you're interested in exploring this together.
Okay.
You can even frame it as a way to enhance your connection and discover new ways to please each other.
Oh, I like that.
Focus on the positive aspects,
Yeah.
the fun, the exploration, the deepening of intimacy.
Right. And if your partner's hesitant,
Yes?
don't pressure them.
Absolutely not.
Really listen to their concerns.
Yeah.
Validate their feelings.
Yeah.
And reassure them that it's all about what feels good.
Exactly.
Both of you.
For both of you, you're in this together.
Yeah.
Maybe watching some educational videos together could be a good starting point.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Or even browsing online stores together.
Yeah.
It can be fun and lighthearted.
I love that.
It's about creating that safe and comfortable space.
Right.
Where you can both feel open and curious.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey.
It is.
Start slow.
Yeah.
Experiment.
Yes.
And most importantly, communicate with each other.
Communicate.
Yeah. The more you talk about
Yeah.
your desires and boundaries,
Yeah.
the more fulfilling and enjoyable
Exactly.
the experience will be.
Exactly.
And you never know. You might discover a whole new side of your intimacy.
You really might.
That's a great point.
Thanks.
It's all about embracing the adventure
Yes.
and being open to new possibilities.
Exactly.
This deep dive into the world of toys during sex has been incredibly insightful.
It has been.
And I feel much more knowledgeable
I do too.
than I was before we started.
Me too, for sure.
It's fascinating to think about how, introducing a toy can shift the dynamic in the bedroom.
It's not just the physical part of it. You're opening up a conversation, you're trying new things together, being more vulnerable with each other.
Right.
And it can lead to, that deeper intimacy and connection.
And you know what else? As we learned from Sex with Emily,
Yeah.
it can even be a game changer during the postpartum period.
Absolutely. She's all about normalizing those struggles.
Right.
And finding ways to reconnect
Yeah.
with your body and your sexuality after such a transformative experience.
I imagine a lot of people might feel intimidated
Yeah,
or even embarrassed to bring up the topic of toys with their partner.
for sure.
Any advice on overcoming that hurdle?
It really comes down to communication,
Okay.
but doing it in a way that feels safe and comfortable for both of you.
Okay.
maybe start by sharing something you learned from this deep dive.
Okay.
Something that piqued your interest.
Okay, like what?
You could say something like, hey, I was listening to this podcast and they were talking about how toys can actually enhance intimacy, and I'm curious to explore that with you.
Okay, I like that, yeah.
Keep it lighthearted, playful,
Right.
and emphasize that it's about exploring together, not pressuring anyone into something they're not comfortable with.
Absolutely, and if your partner is hesitant, really listen to their concerns.
Yes.
Maybe suggest starting slow.
Yeah.
Like browsing some online stores together.
Exactly.
Or watching some educational videos to learn more.
That's a great idea.
It's all about creating that sense of shared exploration.
It is.
And making sure both partners feel respected.
Yeah.
And heard.
Absolutely.
This has been so eye-opening.
It has.
I feel like I've gained like a whole new perspective.
Me too.
On using toys during sex.
For sure.
And I hope our listeners feel the same.
Yeah.
You know what? There's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Absolutely not.
What matters most is finding what works for you and your partner.
Exactly.
And enjoying the journey of discovery together.
And having fun along the way.
Yes, that's very important.
It is.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave you with this.
Yeah.
If you're even a little bit curious about incorporating toys into your sex life,
yes,
take that first step. Do some research.
Yeah.
Have an open conversation with your partner.
Absolutely.
And see where it leads you.
Exactly.
You might be surprised.
Oh my.
At how much fun and connection it can bring.
For sure.
And if you're looking for a great place to start your exploration, definitely check out the Sex with Emily podcast and website.
Tons of great information there.
Remember, embracing pleasure and exploring your sexuality is a beautiful thing.
It is.
Be curious, be open, be playful, and most importantly, have fun.
Have fun.